You want to introduce our special guest speaker today?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of introducing your speaker today. He is a Tier 3 mentor out of Orlando, Florida. A little story about us and how we met. We actually met at JC's Mentor Factory last year. I'm just going to mute someone that's off mute. Give me 1 second. All right. So we met last year. We were speaking. We didn't know each other. We were at JC's Mentor Factory. Awesome. At the end, there was a little gathering with Jay Nolan, who was an awesome speaker there, incredible. And that's where Jonathan and I met. And since then, we kind of kept in touch, and we've been working together. He's become my business partner. We're not on the same lineage, but we are under JC. So we've been working together here in Orlando. I've grown tremendously because this man, he's an electrical engineer by trade. He's married with his lovely wife, Emily, and he has his 2 dogs. I believe I could be messing that up. Sorry, Jonathan. He's also bilingual, and he's a servant. He always serves. He goes above and beyond, and he's always willing to listen and to help you. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of introducing my very good friend and partner, Mr. Jonathan Espinal, who's going to be talking about discipline and habits and the keys to success. So drop a 1 or a fire emoji in the chat section. Let's give it up for Jonathan.
Thank you, Ramsey. Thank you for that introduction. And thank you, JC, for having me here in the platform hosting. It's a great honor. I've learned a lot from this platform, so paying it back and hopefully, helping other people here. And I appreciate this so much, just everybody coming together, regardless of what lineage you're in, if you're in JC's team or not, this is invaluable for sure, and whenever you guys can give me access to sharing, I'm trying to share right here. It says that only the host can share. I have a story. All right, sounds good. Still telling me that only the host can share for some reason. See what's going on.
We're gonna get you going right now. In the meantime, tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah. So okay. So it seems like it gave me access. So I do have a story to tell you guys of where I come from and everything else, and why I'm empowered. So here right now, let me know. Can you guys see my screen?
We can see it, brother.
Okay, perfect. So I'm like Ramsey mentioned, I do have a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from the University of Central Florida. I have about 10 years of experience in electrical engineering. I used to do design for the theme parks, Universal and Disney. A lot of their rides I worked on, so that was a very exciting thing to do. I also did some work for NASA, SpaceX, Blue Origin. So people will tell me, why would you leave this that you're doing? I was working from home, I was doing well. Why would you leave this that a lot of people dream of to go sell solar? Well, that is because I believe that I need 5 things, at least 5 things in my life, and I was missing one of those things. So I care about well-being, family, financial freedom, time ownership, and inspiring and elevating others. The problem was that I didn't have time ownership. Financially, I was doing well. My wife and I were doing well, but we didn't own our time, right? I didn't own my time at least. So a lot of the times we wanted to go on a family vacation. I wanted to spend some time with my family, and I couldn't because I had to be doing these designs for these great projects, right? I had to go to one of the theme parks to do an inspection or work on a design till 3 a.m. So I decided that was not for me. So I decided to take a career transition into owning my business in the renewable energy industry. And I made that decision last year at Mentor Factory. After I heard everybody speak, I heard a couple people, give their story, and they were successful before solar too, and they left their careers to do this, and they're happier than they have ever been before. And it wasn't just a decision that I took right there and then. I had been at Powur for a while, and I had been looking at the business and to see if it was something that I wanted to do or something that was viable, and everything that people had been saying was true. And of course it was. So it was a no-brainer for me. A lot of people actually make that jump to change their lives and make a career transition or own their business when they have nothing to lose, right? So like they're not making a lot of money, they're not working from home, they probably don't even have a job. But I think that the best time to do it is when you're doing well, right? Because you're not in any hardship at the moment. So I thought it was the perfect time to do it. So that's just a little introduction about me. Some of you know me, a lot of you still don't know me. But that's a little bit that I have to share about me. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about discipline and habits and how that is the key to success. Understanding and cultivating your discipline and the discipline and your habits in your daily lives. It's something that I had to live by my entire life, basically. If you go through college to get an engineering degree, you have to have discipline, you have to have habits, and to make it in life and everything that you do, especially in the solar business, how we have a lot of people that come in and leave right away. Oh, it doesn't work or something like that. But it's not that it doesn't work. It's that their discipline and their habits are not aligned to make them successful. So it is one of the things that, well, the main thing that everybody should be thinking of. Am I disciplined enough? Are my habits aligned with what I do? Right? So let's first talk about what habits or what discipline is. So it is the practice of training oneself to obey rules or a code of behavior. It is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. This is very important because a lot of the times we talk about goals without talking about discipline first. There's no way that we are going to be able to achieve our goals if we don't have discipline. It's not going to happen, right? So it is very important to know the building blocks of discipline and the building blocks of habits, right? So the power of discipline, when you practice something consistently, it can shape your life. It could change who you are. You could be in whatever hardship it is that you're in. And if you change your discipline and you change your habits, you can turn your life around. And I'm sure a lot of people in this platform can speak to that, So we focus on recruiting, bringing people into the platform, training them on solar. And a lot of the times we forget that the building block of being successful is being disciplined. And JC talks about this all the time. If you follow JC's podcast, the Driven Not Given podcast, you're gonna hear this consistently, right? And if you listen to JC's podcast, drop a 1 in the chat box. And if you don't listen to it, you should definitely get into that, because it is a very, very motivating podcast that he has, and I've been listening to it for a long while now. So one of the things that help us keep focus is resisting temptation and overcoming obstacles. We are creatures of habits. A lot of the times our friends are going out, they're having, drinking beer or going to the movies or something like that. And we want to join them, right? Because the human brain works just like electricity. We take the path of least resistance. It's easier to go and do that, so that's what we do because we're accustomed to do that. Discipline has to be cultivated. We have to be intentional about being disciplined. Otherwise, we can easily become couch potatoes, right? So this involves setting clear goals, creating a plan, and sticking to the plan, even if it's difficult. More so if it is difficult. A lot of the times, like a lot of you guys probably like to work out, right? But your brain tells you, no, don't do it. Don't work out. Just stay watching this movie. When you can go and do what you're supposed to do, even when you're uncomfortable, even when you don't want to do it, even when your body's telling you that you're feeling sick, when you do that, you know that you're disciplined. It does require patience, commitment, and a strong sense of purpose for you to be able to do this. This is not, just doesn't come out of nowhere. And when we talk about bridging the gap between, if you are bridging the gap, when you have a gap in your life, when you are like, things are not going right, they're not going my way, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, what do I need to change? Discipline is usually the answer to these problems. Why are people not following me? Why am I not able to recruit into my team? It's because, like JC says, ask yourself, would you follow yourself? Are you disciplined enough to deserve for others to follow you where you're going, for them to believe what you're telling them? Especially when you're trying to recruit people that are close to you, they've known you your whole life. And if you're not disciplined, if they see that you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it, guess what? That person is probably not going to go to your team. And if they do, when they come in and they see that you're still the same regular Joe, they're going to leave, because we probably have nothing to offer them unless we actually build ourselves first. So now let's talk a little bit about habits. Habits, their routines and their, behavior that we are repeatedly and regularly doing unconsciously. They play an integral role in our daily lives, and they shape the actions and decisions that we take, and ultimately our future. Like I think JC has mentioned this before, and I'm not sure how many of you have already read The Slight Edge, which is a great book, by the way. Absolutely, if some of you have not read it, absolutely recommend it. They say that when we have habits that drive us to take certain actions and certain decisions, we don't see it right away, right? The first day, somebody can be eating a pizza, and then somebody else can be eating the broccoli with tofu. And the first day, you're not going to see anything. The second week or the first month, you probably are not going to see much of a difference. But after a year of that guy eating pizzas and the other one eating broccoli, you're definitely going to see a change. For sure, you're going to see a change. And funny thing, I saw you posted the other day to an actor and an actress, and they're like the same age, but he looks so much different than she did. And those are life decisions that we make today shapes how we look tomorrow, not only physically, but mentally and financially as well. So let's talk about what are some healthy habits that you guys have adopted that helps you in your daily life. So if you guys can share with us what some of those are in the chat, please. And if anybody wants to come off of mute and share what are some of the daily habits that you have adopted that work for you in the business and in your daily life, more than welcome. I would actually want this to be a little bit more interactive here, because I want everyone to hear it firsthand from some of us that are applying daily habits that are healthy for us and for our businesses. Please.
Sure, I'll go. So one of the things that I'm doing is that I break my day up into 6 sections, right? So I have my morning time, which is I wake up, I read, I have my personal devotion time that I do what I need to do. From there, from 9 to 12, that's another section of my day. That's where I'm meeting with Jonathan. We're brainstorming, we're masterminding, we're cold calling, we're reaching out, we're creating content. We're developing our back office and our CRMs, our automations, our workflows, blogs, etc. From there, there's 12 to 3. So I find that by breaking these down into smaller segments, I get more of a dopamine hit for achieving these micro goals. So I'm making mini habits work for my benefit, in the sense that I'm setting the goal in the bar so low that I can't fail, because what I'm looking for is consistency, not volume. I don't want all of it at once. I can always tweak that knob later. What I want to do is build that habit of just doing the same thing every morning. And then once you start meeting that every morning, you can always increase as much as you want. So let's say today I have to reach out to 5 people minimum, but not everyone's going to reach out to 5 people. So set the bar ridiculously low, in the sense that reach out to 1 person. If you can reach out to 1 person and do that consistently, then you're going to get so used to it, you're going to get acclimated. You're going to say, well, let me reach out to 2, let me reach out to 3. Oh, you're doing 10, you're doing 15. So for me, that's been one of the biggest things that's helped me, is breaking down my days, time blocking, preparing the night before. So writing the lists and everything that you have to do, so it can unconsciously be absorbed as you sleep. And right before falling asleep, those few minutes when you're drifting, you're in between consciousness, start manifesting. That's where you plant the seeds. So start visualizing what it is you want and feel it. and then go to your sleep. Long-winded answer.
No, that was a great answer, Ramsey, actually. Like you mentioned, you and I worked on a daily basis together. At 7 o'clock, I already have Ramsey Clark saying, "Hey, brother, how you doing? Are you ready?" Like he's excited to start the morning and this has become a habit. Sometimes I'm like, Ramsey, we're not meeting yet. We're meeting at 8 o'clock, but it is a habit. They say that it takes like 19 days to build a habit. We've been doing this a lot longer than that. Anyone else has something to share about the healthy habits that they have adopted and that have helped them in their business and in their daily lives?
I'll share, bro. So for me,
Absolutely.
one of the things that has helped me out a lot is definitely waking up early. For me, 6 o'clock is the time I usually wake up. Sometimes I'll wake up a little bit earlier, but for the most part, it's 6 a.m. that I wake up. And but I finish my day before I started. So the day before, I usually like to finish my day before I started. So I'll have a notepad and I'll put the to-do list on there of some of the, and I may not remember everything, right? But a lot of the important things that I've got to get done for the next day. Right. So in my mind, I finish the day before I get started and I try to do some of the harder things before 12. Ideally, before 12, I want to knock out some of the hardest things. Then the rest of the day becomes easier. But getting an early start on my day and then also working out, right? So I like to work out in the morning. I'm usually in the office when I come to the office by 9 or 10 a.m. But a lot of times, even though I'm here at 9 or 10 a.m., I already got a lot done, whether it was important phone calls or, responding to an email. And the last thing, when I wake up in the morning, I have about an hour where I don't touch my phone. I'm not looking at screen time for that first hour. So I'm making myself a coffee, usually a black coffee. I go get my workout in. And then around 8 o'clock is when I start maybe responding to text messages or phone calls or emails, but definitely finishing my day before I started the night before. So I have a clear vision of what I got to get done the next day. And to top it off is throughout the day, I work on that to-do list, right? Because if not, the whole day gets away. And I realize, man, I didn't really do a whole lot. So I got my notepad to-do list, and I even got my to-do list here in my office. So you guys can see there, I got my wall right there, my whiteboard, and I got my to-do list of things that I've got to get done right there. So I think working with a to-do list is very, very important. So those are some things that have helped me.
Great, thank you, man. Thank you for sharing, and it's great hearing it from you, right? Because you've mastered habits and discipline. You've mastered that from a long time ago. You've shared with us that that you're a champion in karate, and to do that, you have to be very disciplined. So you probably use the same discipline and the same habits from that to build your business, and you know firsthand what it is to lose what you had before, right? And start from zero.
Yep.
2019 in Powur with zero people, zero knowledge about solar, to making $1 million in Powur. That is absolutely amazing what you just did there. And we can be 100% sure, 200% sure that you did it because you have great habits and absolute discipline, right?
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So I'd also like, for some of us to also share some of the habits that have prevented us from achieving our goals. Because this is very important. We can talk about all the positive things that we do to help us be successful, but it's also great to share what are some of the things that prevent us from achieving our goals, right? Like I believe personally that one of the most important traits that we can have as humans, as persons, is being able to analyze ourselves, auto-analyze ourselves, and tell ourselves, hey, I understand that this thing that I'm doing is not helping me move forward. Because if we're not able to see that, if we're not able to auto-analyze ourselves, we can, like JC says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So it's very important for us to realize the mistakes that we're making or the habits that are actually preventing us from achieving greatness. So do I have anybody here who, or is anybody against sharing some of the habits that they realize that have prevented them either now or in the past from achieving their goals?
Yeah, we got two hands raised. We have Bill Connolly and Anthony Bonilla in line. I know you're on your
Let's
iPad.
go with Bill and then Anthony.
Okay, Jonathan. So I'll share my weakness and my strength. So I've been doing for quite some time now. Get up at 5 o'clock every day. That's my alarm. Sometimes I'll snooze for 15 minutes or so, but that allows me to block out a time. I do a fair amount of reading. I go through the Bible every year, the entire one. I'm on my 6th year now, and then I have some other stuff that I practice, memorization and everything. But it helps me get focused. But I'm gonna say my weakness, and I'm gonna incorporate this year, is not to do a good job of planning the night before. I think I would make better use of that early time and get more done if I had some specific items scheduled the night before about intentions for the next day. So that's I'm going to share my vulnerability there, and that I'm going to change that. You can do anything you want in life if you intend to do it. If there's a JC talks about it. I read Think and Grow Rich a long time ago, and the Science of Getting Rich, and have used that stuff over the course of time. But really, just if you speak it, if you do it, it will happen. I'm going to tell you that many things in my life I have done just because I intended to do it. People that I've met, maybe plan on meeting some people that you never thought. And JC and I are going to be friends now. Okay. So, and not that wasn't going to ever happen before, but I've intended that to happen. And whether he likes it or not, it's going to happen now because it's my intention. And that's what's so great is especially if it comes from a good place, if you're intending for it to be good. And I just share that because there's nothing that you cannot do if you put your mind to it. If you speak it into existence, if you plan for it to be, it will be. And it's not magic, but it is absolutely mathematical. It will work. So congratulations, JC, on being my new best friend. Anyway, so but no, I'm serious, and so I'm calling myself out on having to spend more time, more practice at getting stuff done the night before. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, for sharing. That was great. I appreciate it. Yeah, Mr. Anthony, right? You had your hand raised. I can't see who has their hand raised, unfortunately. I can only see the presentation. So Ramsey, if you can help me with that.
Hey, Jonathan, good morning. So since I started in Powur, 3 years ago, back in 2020, I've done two things in my business that has helped me, but also hurt me at the same time. These two things were doing a 90-day Blitz challenge and also attending as many events as I could. So I say it's helped my business, but also hurt me because for the first 2 years in Powur, I did a 90-day Blitz challenge. For those two, I would do at least one per year, right? My first year I did two. But the problem is I would do the 90-day Blitz challenge, and mentally I thought, all right, I did a 3-month challenge to build my business, build momentum, and then I would stop and I would lose momentum. Right? JC Rangel always says, momentum is the hardest thing to gain, but the easiest thing to lose. And then also those first 2 years here at Powur, I would attend every event, Super Saturdays or regionals, convention. The problem was I would attend by myself and I wouldn't bring a guest. I wasn't really building my team. So it was helping my business, but also it wasn't growing to the point where I wanted to be at. I would see JC 10x his business and I would wonder why and how is he doing it? Well, I just had to switch a few things, and JC coached me and mentored me on this, and Jonathan Brunels as well. So now when I do a 90-day Blitz challenge, yeah, I go hard for 90 days. Usually I do it from January 1st through the end of March, right? But I don't let my foot off the gas pedal. I keep going, right? Maybe I'm not going all in. Well, how should I rephrase it? Maybe I'm not putting in all the hours I would put in a 90-day challenge, which usually it's over 12 hours a day, right? But I'm still working my business, waking up earlier, going to sleep later, working through the day, right? I'm still talking to people, getting new clients, getting new consultants on the team, training the team, right? But now also on the team, on attending the events, what I switched was instead of attending by myself, right, I bring guests or I bring the team, right, and have them bring guests as well. And you're going to start seeing your business double, triple, 10x eventually. So make it a goal, right? Do a 90-day blitz challenge. Even though we're going to be in August pretty soon, what, tomorrow? Start tomorrow, right? And it doesn't have to be in January. It doesn't have to be New Year, New Me. Start tomorrow. Maybe start with the 60-day or 30-day challenge, right? Start small, but don't let your foot off the gas pedal. And also, when you attend events, make it a goal to bring a guest. Even if you don't have a guest, attend the event, because when you're around that fire, you can learn from other people, even though they're new consultants or if they've been there longer. So you'll always be inspired by the consultants in that environment. So, that's it for me. So I always try to learn. I'm always writing notes, and I'm coachable, and that's what you guys should all be, coachable, whether you're new or you've been in the business for a while. Thanks for letting me share, Jonathan and Ramsey.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and thank you, Anthony, for sharing with everybody. That is very valuable, and I can say firsthand, last year I saw when you came to Mentor Factory, and this year I see a different Anthony. You had multiple people at that event. That was impressive, and that was definitely inspiring as well. You're teaching me a lesson, so thank you very much for sharing. I highly appreciate that. Does anybody else have their hand raised?
Not at the moment, although someone in the chat did mention that going to bed late is their habit for years as a musician. I can definitely relate to that. Whereas to this day, on weekends, I'm performing and I'm not going to bed before 2 a.m. and I'm still trying to wake up at that similar time. So I totally understand that struggle, 707, Jonathan.
Right. No, and that's a great point, and I appreciate them for bringing that up, because going to sleep late is not only affecting you in the fact that the next day you're going to wake up a little later probably, but going to sleep late or not sleeping enough hours is actually affecting you in many ways. Your health, a lot of health issues that might come up in the future are attributed to going to sleep later or not sleeping enough hours. The next day you're going to be groggy. You're not going to have enough energy. It's going to do all kinds of stuff for you personally, and also in your business. Your business is not going to run the same. And I know that because I've started to sleep much better, not because I didn't want to before, but my wife, and this is something that I'm going to share. So my wife kept bugging me, hey, you snore too much. Something is going on. And I never paid attention to it until one day I'm like, I'm way too tired and I sleep the hours that I'm supposed to. So I need to find out what it is. So I did a sleep study and go to find out I had severe sleep apnea. So it was easily resolved using a CPAP. I'm sleeping the same amount of hours now, but I have all this energy now that I didn't know I had before. And I went through college and everything having sleep apnea. So I'm like, there's nobody going to stop me now, because now I'm sleeping the amount of hours that I'm supposed to. I have all this energy and I'm ready to go the next day. But it is very important to, get the sleep that you need. And building that habit is a very important habit to have. So let's see what else here we got for you guys. So there is, and I got this from Atomic Habits, I believe, there is a habit loop, and something that we need to keep in mind, because habits, they just don't come out of nowhere, right? We build them over time, and there's something that happens. The thing is that a lot of us are not realizing that it's happening. I'm sure more than one of us here has been driving from the office or from anywhere to your house, and you get to your house and you say, oh, how did I even get here? Because you were probably on the phone or doing something, and you don't realize that you made it home already. You stopped at traffic lights, stop signs, made who knows how many turns, and that you didn't realize you made them because you go through that same route every single day. So it is, encrusted in your brain. There are like avenues in your brain that tell it that that's what they need to do, that's what it needs to do. So it's working on autopilot. And And these are some examples of real life things that we have every single day going on. We have a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. First, the cue, for example, on this one is your phone buzzes. You hear your phone buzz. So you want to learn what the content of that message is. Like, why is your phone buzzing? Who's reaching out to you? You automatically grab your phone. Like, this is a habit already. Like, it sounds and your body's telling you, oh, read that message right away. You want to see what it says. So you grab your phone and you need to read that text. It's like a drug thing. It's really bad. You know, and then you satisfy that craving as soon as you read that message until the next message shows up. This is a bad thing because we're connected more than ever. We're connected to all social medias, text messaging, video calling, and it's very easy to allow those distractions to derail your day. So that's why Ramsey and I, we've been holding each other accountable on that and putting the phone aside. And if I see, like, we're on videos, if I see that he's trying to call somebody that he's not supposed to, or read a message that he's not supposed to, I let him know, and he does the same for me. So that's how we're working on breaking those type of habits that could be detrimental to our business. And another example here is answering emails. You know, you begin feeling stressed. That's the craving, right? So and overwhelmed by the work. So you want to feel in control. So you just start, writing emails. It's easier to do that than to do whatever else you were supposed to do. The response to feeling stressed is like, some people bite their nails, some people go and get up, they grab coffee, they eat, and you satisfy your craving by reducing your stress, by doing the nail biting, the eating, the overeating, or overindulging, whatever it is, And another one is waking up, feeling alert, drinking a cup of coffee. You satisfy your craving after after you drink that cup of coffee because it makes you feel alert. Those are some of the things that we do. And like Bill shared earlier, having a snooze, having an alarm on snooze, it's actually a habit. I read a book, or I listened to it on Audible. I like audiobooks a lot too. I do both. The 5 a.m. Club. That was an amazing book that I also recommend if anybody here hasn't read it yet. It's kind of like a story, a fictional story, but it teaches you a great message. And after I started following that, I call myself part of the 5 a.m. Club. 5 a.m. alarm rings, or sometimes the alarm doesn't even ring, but 5 a.m. up, I do not snooze, regardless of what happens. I could be as tired as I can be. I'm not gonna snooze. I'm gonna go take a cold shower and start my day that way until Ramsey texts me at 7 p.m. so that, at 7 a.m. so that we can start working together. So these are the cues, and the cues, craving, response, and reward. So this is the cycle of a habit, and we're going to talk about how to create good habits. So here, the first law is to always have a cue and make that cue obvious for whatever it is that you need to do. The second law, you need to have a craving. So make it attractive. Whatever it is, if you want to go out running every day to become more fit, or whatever it is, have a cue that tells you to go running every day, whether it be an alarm on your phone, actually, for this one, that after it goes off, you know that it's time to go out there. You have a craving to make it more attractive. What is it? You want to make a post on social media. You want to look a little bit sexier in 3 months, like something that you're looking up to, or at the moment that actually makes you crave going running. And then the third law is having a response. So you have to make it easy. So it's very easy to do. Like, you don't have to go and, like, your shoes have to be there ready to go. Your clothes has to be there. You don't have to come up with 1,000 things. And then the fourth one is the reward. Make it satisfying. At the end of the day, this is what our brain is asking for. Whatever you do has to be satisfying. If you're in this business, that's why a lot of times that's what it says. Hey, if you're in this business just for the money, it's very hard, because it's very hard to make it satisfying if you're just doing it for the money, because you might be miserable all throughout the process, right? Unless you do things with that money that make it very satisfying. You go on a lot of vacations, or you buy time essentially. So just like we build good habits, we also break bad habits. How do we break bad habits? We do the opposite. We inverse the four laws, right? So we make those cues invisible. How can we make cues invisible? In the example that I gave about receiving text, and every time that you hear a ping, wanting to read it, put your phone on silence. So if you say that from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., you're going to be calling realtors to recruit them into your team. You have no business having that phone all the way up. I think for the last 15 years, my phone has been on silent, unless I'm expecting a call that I need to respond to. But on the hours that I know that I'm supposed to be doing something, since I was in college, I had that thing on silent. And people tell me, oh, why do you not answer my calls? Why do you not answer my messages? Well, because I wasn't supposed to at that time. I'll get to you when I'm available. The craving, make it unattractive. Whatever it is that you do, that you understand that's bad for you, just have a notion in your head that is bad for you. Make it unattractive, make you not want to do it. The third law, the response, make it difficult. If you used to put a lot of creamer in your coffee in the morning or something like that, don't buy that creamer. Or I don't know, put it somewhere where it's in the back of the fridge, where you have to actually reach out for it if you have it, so that you don't want to do it. It makes it difficult. And believe it or not, sometimes because you have something in the back of the fridge, a lot of people just won't drink it, won't use it. It will go bad because it's in the back of the fridge, so they don't want to reach for it. And then the fourth law, the reward, make it, very unsatisfying whenever you do it. If you don't want to keep doing it, the snoozing thing, just, I don't know, make something up that makes you not want to do it. Like, hey, if I snooze today, I'm gonna have to post on social media, hey, I snoozed again, so that everybody knows that you're snoozing. So that's not satisfying, right? So the science of habits, they're formed in the brain through the process of involving cues, routines, rewards, and this cycle is known as habits. The going through that loop. And it is what allows our behaviors to become automatic. It is like a dopamine. So it's like a drug, like I was saying before. Whenever you hear that ping, whenever you have 100 likes on your post, that's a dopamine. That makes you build habits. So the power of habits. Now we're talking about habits, and habits change our daily lives. They influence our actions and decisions, and they can also have positive impacts when they have positive impacts when it promotes healthy behaviors and balance, like such as exercising or balanced eating, or it can have negative impacts. If your habit is like smoking or procrastinating. So let's talk about the importance of building habits, which we have been talking about already. It is crucial for personal success and well-being. If you are bad at building habits, that is the number one thing. Before you focus on how much money you're going to make in this business, before you focus on how many people you're going to recruit into your team, focus first on how to build a habit. Like Ramsey said, it doesn't have to be a lot. If you don't even call one realtor a day, or one roofer, or one homeowner, start by doing that. Say, you know what, in the morning at 9 a.m., the first thing that I'm going to do is call a realtor or call a homeowner. And you just do one. And eventually you're going to see how the power of that takes over. And you're going to say, why am I only calling one? And if you have success, even better, just start by doing that. The strategies for building good habits, we already talked about that. It is very important that we start small and we gradually increase it in complexity of the habit. We associate new habits with existing ones and make the habit satisfying, like we just talked about. And the other day, just to say, we're humans and we make mistakes. I know this information, but the other day, after coming back from Mentor Factory, I told Ramsey, hey, man, we're going to call realtors for 4 hours at a time. And he's like, dude, we haven't been calling realtors for 3 hours prior to this. So why would we set a goal of, 4 hours? Let's start small. And, he set me straight on that one. and it's been working for us. We have, as I was sharing with JC, we have many tools now that are allowing us to recruit people into our team. But that's because we have built those habits slowly. And for what I need from you guys, and to interact a little bit, I need you guys to write in the chat what is one action that you are willing to commit to in order to help you achieve your goals. What is one thing that you guys are gonna do today that is gonna change your business and is gonna change your life? I'm not gonna be able to see it because I'm able to see only the presentation, but Ramsey, my good friend right here, is gonna let me know if you guys are interacting.
Absolutely. So we have time blocking for RGAs. Go to bed earlier by setting alarm to do it. Another cool tip is set your alarm. I forgot who was it that said this. They set their alarm 4 minutes earlier.
4:26.
Was that you, Bill?
No, but it was what's his name?
Zachary back.
Zachary.
Yeah, that's a good one. What else we have? We have go to bed
Plan
earlier.
the night before.
Correct. Marketing and door knocking daily with effective follow-up calls, email, letters for Powur bills, and continue to work with my mentor. That's awesome. A great one. Plan the night before, 100%. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right.
Those are all great ones, and don't just type it in the chat. Type it in a little piece of paper or type it on a sticky note where you have it in front of you, where you see it every single day. And if you see it, you're gonna take the action because you're like, wait, what am I doing, right? Why am I writing these things if I'm not doing it? So just write it down. And the power of writing that down it's usually underestimated, that there's a lot of power to writing down your goals and the actions that you're going to take. Because if you see it every day, it reminds you that you do need to take action, right? You need to actually do it. And here, I left this here on purpose. I know that this just passed. It was July 21st and 22nd. I was there, Ramsey was there. Mr. Bill Conley gave us a great experience in his new car, which was great, by the way, the Lucid. But the reason why I have the Mental Factory here is because if you didn't go this year, I highly recommend that you guys buy that video or get that video that JC is going to be putting out, because it just provided so much. And this is my second year, by the way, going to Mentor Factory, second year in a row out of the 3. And it provides so much value. Like I mentioned last week, not just the content that's being shared in Mentor Factory, but all the connections that we make at Mentor Factory. People that you never thought that you were going to meet in the company, you're meeting them there. And just like the value, I can't say it enough, the value that JC brings into these events. He convinced Mr. Mario Arizon to come into the room. One of the top guys at Primerica, his company, he convinced him to come and talk to us and give us like a life lesson, but based on what he went through and how he built his teams. And what you pay for this is nothing. Like this is, I came back from Mentor Factory and I made the money and more on a quick sale right away. So just from nuggets that you get there, I cannot stress it enough. If you didn't go this year, absolutely recommend going next year and getting that video from JC. And JC, you put out a training as well. And I got that. I already started it and it started to give me chills. So I'm like, this is a different version of JC. It's JC 2.0. He was giving you nuggets from like the first 5 seconds of the training. So I am so happy, my brother, that I got that training. So I highly recommend everybody to get that, because JC provides so much value to us as it is. And another thing that I have to talk about is Powur. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, please get it as soon as possible, because those are going to run out. Book your hotels as soon as possible, and bring your team if you can. Please, bring your team over to Powur. Again, that's all I had for you guys today. bring it back to Ramsey or JC to close this one out. It was a pleasure being here, and I hope that, you know, I was able to provide at least some value for some of you. Thank you.
Awesome, Jonathan. Hey, guys, show some love in the chat section for Mr. Jonathan Espinal. This is his first presentation, and you did an awesome job, my brother. Proud of you. That's mindset is everything, dude. You gave some great nuggets today. Thank you for that. JC, did you have any words, any last words?
Yeah, no, first of all, Jonathan, great job. As I knew, here's the deal, success leaves clues. He came to Mentor Factory last year, and he just came as a new guy. It's funny because I texted him this morning, and I saw my messages that he was telling me about a lead that he had in Florida. And I told him, go ahead. I know that you saw the verb, Anthony. And I told him, go ahead and tag Ramsey Clark to help you with this first lead, brother. Because I sponsored a gentleman, Emmanuel, who sponsored him, right? Emmanuel's doing good, but not as good as Jonathan. That goes to show that some of your best people are going to come deep in your organization, right? And now, second level is not very deep, and I'm very grateful that he's my second level versus seventh level, right? But he's just an absolute stud. So he came year one, and he said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to crush it. I'm going to leave my job, he says. I'm going to make this my full-time career. Lo and behold, a couple months later, after Mentor Factory last year, 2022, he did that. He came again this one. And if you listen to people like Ramsey, like Jonathan, like Anthony, success leaves clues, right? So, you know, thanks for giving the shout out for the event. Those of you guys that missed Mentor Factory 2023, go to mentorfactory2023.com. Buy it for $100. By the way, the people that make that website for me and put up all of the videos charge me $1,000 to do it. So I got to sell 10 of them to even break even. So I already paid them. I think 2 people bought it. I don't do it for the money, man. I do it because if I pay $1,000 to get it up there and 5 people buy it, that means that I'm negative $500. I don't even care, but I want to provide it for the people that want it, right? So I just want to put things into perspective for you guys. I created the Top Mentor Academy, which Jonathan and Anthony and Ramsey purchased, and I think Bill did as well. A bunch of people did. There's a lot of value there. Matter of fact, this Thursday, I'm going to go shoot another 5 episodes. So I'm going to be adding like another 15 to it, right? It already has 36, like 3 hours worth of content with tests afterwards. That is some powerful stuff that you guys are getting there, right? So the code still works. I haven't told them to take it off. MF100. If you buy the course, $495, and you put code MF100, you get $100 off. So I recommend you guys get there. For those of you that want to level up, doesn't matter to me that much, man. I just knew the Top Mentor Academy, I got to provide it. Because the people that I ask me and are the most serious, I say, you got to go through this course. You got to invest in yourself. The Top Mentor Academy recorded version, right? Between the website guy and the people that are editing it for me and working on it, by the way, it should be up on, by the way, mentorfactory2023.com is going to be up next week. So if you purchase it, you're not going to have access to it till next week. They're rendering the files. They're putting, imagine how many speakers are putting all of their PowerPoints with their conversations. Even Mentor Factory 2022 is available for purchase. A lot of people purchase out with mentorfactory.net. You can buy Mentor Factory 2022. Those I just do because people want them. And I'm not going to be like, well, it costs me more money to put up than what I'll make from it. I'm going to put it up anyways. And if I lose money on it, it's a tax write-off. But I want to, here's where I make my money. Here's where you'll make your money. Not only in your sales and your efforts, but when I put on an event like this, or I go to convention, which everybody should go to convention if you're serious about the business, I make my money from the future results of what happens at these events, the convention and the Mentor Factory. I know that the more people I get to Mentor Factory, the more people I get to the convention, where my business is going to be 6 months or 1 year from now and beyond is going to be determined on how many butts I get in those seats. I recommend, especially if you miss Mentor Factory, do what you've got to do to make it to the convention, and do not listen. At the end of the day, one day when we're no longer here, when we're dead and gone, the cost of going to the convention or the Mentor Factory, nobody's going to say, oh, if he wouldn't have gone to that convention, you know what I mean, this wouldn't have happened to him. No, man, right? But what if it does? I got people say to me, JC, I can't afford to go. I say, you can't afford not to go. If you can't afford to go, you can't afford not to go. Oh, you know what? It's expensive to go to one of these trainings, or your training is expensive. Let me tell you what's more expensive. a life of mediocrity and not being a professional is way more expensive. You know what I mean? You got to invest in yourself. And let me tell you something, though, and I'm going to close it off with this because I got to do sales meeting. The more, if you meet mediocre people in their life, in their health, in their relationships, in their spiritual life, mediocre in everything, they're very pessimistic and they never invest in themselves. They never invest in themselves. They won't consider it. Successful people invest in themselves because they understand the difference between cost versus value. My course costs $4.95. You're able to get it for $3.95. I guarantee you're going to get 4 times minimum the value from that event. If not, you email me, no questions asked. We give you every single dollar back. I don't want you to be my customer if you don't get the value. The convention, you know what I mean? I don't know what kind of refunds they have, but you don't need one. You should go to that convention regardless. For those of you guys that are looking to really build a successful career out of this, if you're looking to just sell solar here and there, some spare time money, that's fine. It'll help you do that better, right? But for those of you guys that are serious students about success, that's why you want to plug into these trainings every single Monday and Tuesday. Jonathan's on Tuesday. Remember, tonight, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You want to make sure, who do you know? I'm going to be emailing a bunch of leads, a bunch of people that I know that are looking into a business. I'm going to call and I'm going to email a bunch of people, and I'm going to get at least, mark my words, 3 guests on today's opportunity webinar. Because guess what? There's another Jonathan Espinal out there. There's another Anthony Bonilla, Luis Rangel, Luis Perez, Ramsey Clark. And so, I mean, I could just go on and on, right? I'm not going to keep going because surely I'm going to leave people out. There's studs out there. If you don't find them, I'm going to find them, right? So anyways, Jonathan, again, thank you very much, my brother, for an excellent job, brother. Super proud to know you, to call you a friend, and to be in business with you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go out there and crush it. It's Monday. Get excited. Start off your week with momentum. Make more phone calls today. Knock more doors, right? Get the sale. Get the recruits. Have a successful day by the end of the day, and you start off the week with momentum. With that being said, have a good one, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
JC.
you.
Thank you.
Great job, Jonathan. See you
Thank
tonight.
you,
Power
bro.
out. I'm hosting. Hope to see y'all there. I'm going to sing for you.
See you there in a second.